Thank you for all the questions. Too many to answer here today, but I picked some of the more popular ones. The first question is not really about survival, but why I quit my job. The answer is simple. Things are getting worse, and I want people to really understand what matters when it comes to survival. Slowly, even the media cannot hide the mess that is going on. Regular people become poorer and poorer, and the elite does whatever they want. It is time to get prepared for what is coming. Last week, I also finished up working on a new course I worked on for last 2 years together with Jay. This new course is very different. It has a lot of written parts, videos, and illustrations, but I will also be available for questions and help people directly with their preparations and understanding survival. This takes more time, and so I had to make a decision. Keep doing my job or doing what I feel is more important right now, and that is teaching about survival. In a few months or years from now, we might not be able to communicate anymore. But I will know I did my best, and my experience might have saved some lives. That is why I quit my job. Okay, now on to survival questions. I picked 5 of the more popular questions. First question. What are the 3 most likely scenarios that will bring the collapse? Most likely is an economic collapse. Power is shifting to the east, and world economies are going down. Sooner or later it will start chain reaction, and it will be hard, even for the most powerful economies, to stay out of trouble. At the end, it can be like forest fire that will burn everyone. It starts small somewhere, and people do not take it seriously, but then it gets out of control. This is not something that I do not doubt will happen. Question is when. There can be some effects of this like social troubles, riots, and governments turning military and police against their own people. This collapse, if it's going to happen slowly, and we are already in it now. People get poorer, but they do not realize it. They have to work more to just survive. Look at what rich people do. They buy remote farms with airfields. This should get people thinking. Second most likely scenario, in my opinion, is pandemic. The world is very vulnerable to new disasters for a couple of reasons. The way that people commute today, how crowded people live, the politics of big pharmaceuticals companies, who only help when there is a lot of money to be made, and simply our human arrogance, because we believe that we are living in modern times, are kings of nature, and that some kind of new plague is not possible. This scenario is also dangerous, because people have no clue how fragile is the system, and even in most modern countries are in no way prepared for the pandemic. Third most likely scenario is war. Wars happen through history, and will happen again. Just now we have much more powerful weapons, and the world has become much smaller, so everything has become connected. It does not have to be nuclear war, even if that is still possible. It can be triggered by a variety of small terror attacks or some dirty game of a country gets uncovered and is reason enough to attack. Civil war is also very much possible. People in many countries already live in fear, and governments use this fear to come up with rules that makes the population easier to control. As soon as the population of one Western country stands up against their governments, we can expect to see a ripple effect, like with all revolution in the Middle East. Keep in mind that the governments are scared as well. There will be new ideas, like Occupy Wall Street, and they will be used to overthrow the all established structures. All these 3 scenarios can of course work together. A pandemic can speed up the economic collapse and trigger a war for resources. The second question that many people asked was how to stay positive when you face a hopeless, dark situation. A total collapse, like the one I lived through, is a very dark situation, and sooner or later you will catch yourself feeling depressed. That is perfectly normal. There is no magic formula to always be the happy, smiling survivalist. People who tell you different are textbook survivalists without any real experience. When you're thrown from your normal life into a situation where you need to struggle and fight for everything, you will feel bad. At some point, you will feel like your whole normal life is gone and you are falling and everything is breaking apart around you or is already gone. But this is why you learn about survival. The mental side and strength you get from learning about survival is something you can hold on to. If everything around you is gone, what you learn here is something nobody can take from you. Here are some ways that can help once you realize your life is in danger and nobody beside you will help you out of this. Do small steps, small tasks, and take good care about yourself. Forget about big picture. Forget all why, how, when, if, and so on. The collapse is here, and you are in the middle of it. You cannot spend much time to think about everything, and even if you understand the big picture, it does not feed you or your family. You have many jobs to do: food, security, shelter. You have your family to take care of, your friends, or simply yourself. Think about your small circle of people. You and your group, if you have one, and you will have enough problems to take care of. Some people just sit down and worry, are in denial, or try to make plan what to do next. Focus on your next task, your next job, and do what is necessary. Most people in modern society might have forgotten what matters for survival, but it is not rocket science. Listen and learn, and you know what next step makes sense. Watch your attitude and change it now before you need it. I had some kind of "it is going to be what is meant to be" attitude when I found myself in life-threatening situation, while hiding from armed gangs or when our area was under attack. It was not like I would lie down and wait for death. It was more like I did what I could, the rest is not in my hands. Maybe sometimes it looked fatalistic for some people, but it helped me. You can call it fate if you like. It helps. It is a way to keep a bit of peace inside when you are in a situation that is completely out of control. Have some things with you that you enjoy and make you happy. It can be books or some games or music. You will have time for these special moments. Try to enjoy them. But do not make the mistake and try to bring too many things from the old world to the new world of collapse, because at the end you may forget about the new reality around you. Some people prepare to live their life like always after a collapse. They might be able to do this, but they will have a much harder time to understand and accept the new reality, or they will be forced to face the brutal side of life after collapse, at a later point in time when everyone else is already familiar with it. Another question many people asked was how to decide who to trust. It is absolutely important to choose who to trust before shit hit the fan, and have known and trusted people with you before your life depends on them. You need to know them, and it is a slow process of getting familiar and establish real friendship with people who think like you. It needs time. When the civilized society collapses around you, especially on a local level, it can be a fast process. Rioting suddenly starts in your neighborhood, but the police or army has not time for that. Choose quality people before you need them, or you have to trust everyone just because you need the manpower. When shit hit the fan, I trust my own blood first, even if they are not preppers, and I need someone with me or I want to help them. Do not worry if they are not preppers. During a collapse, lots of people have some good ideas what to do, and until then, you are expert who can instruct them. For your friends and people you do not know, It will depend on specific situations. I recommend you think about this without emotion. What do they need from me and what do I need from them? If you work out a longer cooperation, always consider the possibility of betrayal, or at least until that person or group has earned some trust. When it comes to trust and survival, you need to understand that every decision has much bigger consequences when you are in survival situation. Basically, if a person is not part of your group from before the collapse, you cannot trust him at all for a long period of time, with a small exception of your own blood. Of course, use your common sense, even when it comes to family. There is no real trust during survival situations with strangers. Just cooperation, and you need to keep the new reality and new rules in mind. Anything can happen. Also keep in mind things can change. Someone who did not betray you for the first 3 weeks might change when he gets weaker or sees a chance to get more power and influence. Many people also asked what to do when you are older or handicapped, how you can be a valuable asset. I'm not going to say that it will be easy for a person like that. But on the other hand, from my experience in war and when it comes to urban survival, not only young and healthy people survived and everybody else died. A man or a woman who is in perfect health needs to also work on their knowledge, skills and group building for survival. But older people need to work much more on these things. What skills matter? Besides the general survival skills that you should have, other helpful skills that are not easy to replace. Once you showed people how to filter water and purify it, most people can do it. Knowing all the herbs in your area, not so much. This is a skill that makes you valuable for the group. Also think about the mental help you can give younger members of the group. Older age, for example, gives you automatically some more authority. Be the nice person that has time to talk and maybe learn some counseling skills to really help and listen to the many worries your group members will have. The social network. You need a group. Everyone needs a group for survival. Maybe you can get to know important people in your area, so you can become a person with many good connections. We also had some people who always knew where to get things. It makes you valuable if you have a good social network outside of your group. It does not mean you need to trust all these people, but it gets you a foot in the door when you need to negotiate for something or even need help. Preparedness. Pay more attention to your preps. Really understand what will be needed in your area and try to make up with more equipment or things to trade. Do not forget about weapons. A bullet in the head kills no matter what hands hold the weapon, sick or healthy, young or old. The right mindset kills. The last question I want to answer today is if combat-based skills were a thing people use for bartering. Did combat services get trade basically? Yes, of course. I knew a man that was very much in demand because he was very good in building and also disarming booby traps, mines and similar things. He was trained for that and suddenly the demand for his services became incredibly high. After my city was surrounded and we could not escape anymore, there were a whole bunch of untrained people with guns, people who did not know anything about guns or fighting. So if you would have been a man with those skills, you could be very precious in teaching and training others. I also ran into 2 mercenaries, who were expert snipers from the UK in our city who fought on our side. We had mercenaries from all over the world who made good money teaching people how to fight. Any skill is good for trading, but skills that people will look for mostly are the best: to build, repair, teach or heal. During a collapse, there are going to be a lot of amateurs out there. If you are a real professional, you are valuable. So yes, combat skills and all skills necessary for survival can be traded and were traded all the time. These were the questions for now. In the next update, we will speak about another important and often discussed thing, bugging out. Until then, stay vigilant and stay prepared.